So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Business for Breakfast here at Cheadle House, and I'd like to say a big welcome to all our guests today. Just one little thing for guests: you may not get referrals from today's meeting. That doesn't mean we don't like you, we're horrible people. It just means that we need to get to know, like, and trust, and then we understand what's going to be a really good referral for your business. So just bear that in mind. At the end of the meeting, we will be asking you, what's the one thing you enjoyed most about today? So welcome. I'd like to welcome you to the exec team. Today I'm your moderator, Len Foster. We have our host, who's Sarah White. Say hello, Sarah.
Hello.
And our coordinator, who's Phil Oakley.
Good morning.
And spotlight today is Tony Hayes. Raise your hand, Tony, please. Thank you. And Marcus is doing the Learning Point. Marcus Klaus. So again, welcome to all our guests, members alike. On the table, you will see you've got agendas. That just tells you how the meeting will flow. You've also got, on the reverse of that, a 60 seconds crib sheet, as we call it. So if you've not done a 60 seconds before, then just simply look and follow what's on the crib sheet. And referral pads, most important thing, these referral pads. If you hear something that you like and you want a one-to-one with someone, by all means, ask them, write it down on this. If you've got a referral or a lead, this is what you use. They are in triplicate, so just tear them off. Members' contact sheets are on the table. If you hear something again that just takes your fancy, make a note at the side as we're going through the 60 seconds, and then you can transfer that to referral pad at a later time. So welcome, B4B. It's about getting qualified referrals, recommendations, and introductions that turn into business for you. We meet fortnightly on a regular basis, and the purpose is to build relationships, build long-term relationships that turn into business. Will B4B work for you? Yeah, it will. Basically, you've got to contribute by attending. You say you can't refer to an empty chair, but an empty chair cannot hear what you're looking for and go out into the marketplace and look for it for you. So if you can't come yourself, get a substitute. We have a subs list, and it'll go out on an email. Just click on the link, you'll see loads of people who've said, I'll be happily stand in for you, and their chosen areas. So please use that. Have one-to-ones with fellow members. Get the know, like, and trust started off. It may not take more than one-to-one to get to know someone, to get to know all about them. Pass referrals. It works by passing referrals to group members. Effectively, what we are is we're a marketing team, and we're all marketing for one another. We go out into the marketplace, listening for what other members want, finding that, bringing them back as either leads or referrals. Why does B4B work? It works because it's a simple process. It's a three-step process. So we get to know someone through regular group meetings, one-to-ones, interacting with them, and get to like them through those meetings, and develop trust so that we're willing to introduce them to our contacts, our suppliers, and we're happy to do that. Once know, like, and trust are in place, then quite simply referrals flow. So how does it actually work? Well, current members bring along valued guests. It's a lifeblood of a group. It's bringing guests along. And hopefully, those guests will help to grow the group. Between meetings, having the one-to-ones, so that we get the know, like, and trust going. And then we also provide training. Training to help you with networking, generally to help you with business. And it works for you by regularly attending meetings, and also you get to deliver a 10-minute spotlight, so you can showcase your business to all the rest of the room. They can ask you a few questions, you can tell them what you do, how you do it, who you do it for, and that works really well. Ground rules, we have two only. We only work with people who are serious about growing the business. That's why we're here, to grow our business through referrals. And we also prefer to grow by recommendation. This is word of mouth kind of business. Give testimonials to people. somebody's done a good job, recommend them, talk about them. What you gain from membership, what you gain is market sector exclusivity. There are no two of you. There's only one accountant, one solicitor, one IFA, one web developer in any group. It takes the choice of who shall I refer to out. You get to know, like, and trust people. That's how you'll get your referrals. So sector exclusivity. You get qualified referrals. Qualified referrals that lead to profitable business. People who want what you do and are waiting to take your call. It's as simple as that. That's the qualified referrals. You can get reliable new suppliers for your business from group members. And also, which can't be placed too much value on, you get the expertise with the people who are around the table. What you've actually got is a group of business experts in their own field. Could cost you a fortune in consultancy fees, but you get that in a one-to-one as being part of a B4B member. So guests, welcome. Your business sector isn't represented. That's why you're here. We want to get to know you better, to develop this know, like, and trust, so that we're happy to refer to you. As I said before, you may not get referrals today. It's your first time here, and we really want to get to know you better so we know what a good referral looks like for you. If you like what you see, feel free to join us, or send down an application form at the end of the meeting. If you can see the benefit in this, then please feel free to fill in an application form. Business card box is on the table. That will now start working its way around members. And the business card box is a privilege for members. Members put their cards in the box. As a guest, you can take cards out of the box and feel free to circulate your own around the table. So 60 seconds. 60 seconds, the most important minute of the week. Be clear, be brief, be seated. This is your opportunity to tell everyone exactly what you do and exactly who you're looking for. Again, I stress, be specific. Anybody, don't get anybody. Anybody's, everybody's, gets nobody. So, guests, don't forget to use the referral pads when you start to hear members talking about their given subject. You might want to have a one-to-one. Use the referral pads for that. We're going to use a go, 15 seconds, and then stop. And that will mean your 60 seconds is up. So members, please feel free to demonstrate how that's properly done to our guests. And then members will go first, guests will go after. And if we start around the table, we'll start with Phil.
Hello, my name's Philip Oakley, and I'm from a company called Outserve Web. At Outserve Web, we specialise in customer relationship management software. That means we help you with your customers.
What am I asking you for today? Who do you know that's either starting a business or looking to grow their existing business and they'd like to talk to somebody with lots of experience about doing so? I can help them, support them and coach them in doing that. What I'd like to ask you to do is just listen out for and look out for people saying things like, we'd like to get some more business, we would like to grow our business, we're growing so we're looking to employ people, we're looking to sell our business, whatever it might be within the small and medium-sized enterprise organisations, I can probably help them with something.
I'm looking today for a company called SK1. They deal with businesses in the area whereby they've got a lot of offices. People will move into the offices and will need their communication sorted.
Right, thanks everybody for your 60 seconds. That was fantastic. And John Fisher is now going to award the 60-second sensation to the best 60 seconds today. John.
Well, today I think the 60 seconds goes to Tony. He asked for a specific company. It's made it easier for us to refer to you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A spotlight from a member this week is going to be from Tony Hayes. Tony is from Diamond Solutions UK Limited, now located in Bury. Hometown is Dartford. We ask 3 questions of each of our spotlighters each week. The first one is their burning desire. And Tony's long-term burning desire is to achieve a business with £500,000 turnover with a recurring monthly revenue of £50,000 plus. Something nobody knows about Tony is that he had cricket trials for Sussex under-13s, and we ask also what is the secret of his success, and that's treating other people as he would like to be treated himself. So we could welcome Tony in the usual way, please.
As I said, my name's Tony Hayes. My company's Diamond Solutions. Set up in 2005. Been trading for a number of years now. And what I'm going to talk to you today about is numbers and how you use numbers within your business and how they affect you. Len, could you give me a nod at 8, please, and I'll take questions at the end in the 2 minutes so that I can finish. When we're looking at telephone bills, okay, there are a number of numbers that people ring that actually cost them money. Okay, so if we start off at the beginning, okay, a free phone number. How many number ranges do people think there are in the UK at the moment for free phone numbers?
3.
Correct. Okay, 0800, 0500 and 0808. Okay, now if you're ringing those numbers from a landline, how much do you think it costs you? Correct. If you're ringing from a mobile, how much does it cost you at the moment? No, not that much. Okay, normally up to 17p, but it tends to be around the 10p mark, unless you're on a pay-as-you-go one and they'll charge you a little bit more. Okay. You might have seen these number ranges coming out. 0300 and 0330. Taxman, correct? They're using them now. Great, you can ring them from your mobile rather than ringing from your landline. If you ring them from your mobile, an 03 number costs you what? Correct. Okay. If you're ringing from a landline, what does an 03 number cost you? Up to local call rate. So it's up to 2p. It should be on your majority of your telephone bills, you should be paying no more than 2p to ring an 03 number. Okay, so in essence, an 03 number is the reverse of an 0800 number because it's free to ring from a mobile, whereas an 0800 number at the moment, although the networks will change, will cost you anything between 10 and 17 pence. Okay, whereas from a landline, an 0800 number is free. You then got 0845 and 0870. Okay, an 0845 number is the old call local rate, whereby the caller pays an amount to ring it, and the owner of that number would then not used to have to pay at the back end. Then it changed, where the caller paid the number and then it was free to ring, but it's now coming the 0845 where the number is charged at the back end. This, from a landline, should be 3.36p, or it used to be 3.36p. From a mobile, as Janet said, it costs you lots of money. 17p is quite, it can be 25p, but normally it's 17p. An 0870 number is the old call national rate number. When you were ringing from a landline, it would cost you 6.73p to ring it, and you'd get a revenue share at the back end. They've actually come down from a landline, and they're about 1.9 to 2p to ring them. But from a mobile, again, you're looking at 17p to 25p. Okay. We've then got 0871 numbers. Okay. An 0871 number and an 0844 number, in theory, have replaced these two number ranges. But these are flat rate numbers. So if you're ringing an 0844 number from a landline, how much do you think you should be paying maximum? No. Correct. And if you're ringing an 0871 number from a landline, how much do you think you should be paying?
10.
Correct. Okay. The owner of this number will get a revenue share out the back end, ranging from a penny, normally, up to 4.5 to 5p, if they're owner of that number. If you're ringing from a mobile, what do you think the costs are? close. I've seen 45p on 0871 and seen this 25p from a mobile. Okay, so as a business, what we do is we analyse the bills for people to enable them to put them on the right tariffs for their particular profile. So if somebody comes to me and they've got all these charges down here, okay, I start to ask what they're doing, how they're making their phone calls, who they're ringing. Okay, legislation changed on June 13th, whereby if you are a business and you deal with consumers, you're supposed to give back the difference if somebody rings an 0844 or an 0871 number to a local number, which is normally 0102, which is sub 2 pence. So if you're on the phone for 10 minutes to an 0844 number, which should cost you 50p, and it's a B2C sort of scenario, in theory, you're supposed to give the difference back between the 10 minutes at 5p and the 10 minutes at 2p back. You're supposed to. Okay, it's one of these. What's happened is that people put people into queues. They've been in queues for ages. It's B2C. It's caused a lot of problems. Whereas if B2B, it's not. It's okay to use the 0844 numbers. What we're looking for are people who are spending a lot of money on their telecoms. Okay, because we can do these numbers so they're virtual. So you can have that telephone number going out, because we can also supply 01 and 02 numbers. So if you're working from home and you don't want to give out your own telephone number, we can supply you with an 01 or 02 number or an 03 number if you want to. Okay, and that number can, with the right equipment, go out when you're making a phone call. Or alternatively, you can, if you move locations, you can take that number with you. We can do all the clever stuff that goes behind it, such as auto attendant, queue management, fax to email. We can provide all those sort of services for the small business person. And we can also, if you really want it, we can make that on a telephone system for that number to go out as well. So again, what I'm looking for, people with high bills, people who want to reduce their spend, maybe people who want to be smart when they're setting up their business from home. Accountants are always good when they've got customers who are setting businesses up who need their telecom sorting out. So different number ranges, different costs. Does anybody have any questions?
Before we start the questions, can you just do your referral requests once more? But can you make up a company name and also write us onto the board and add that on just the final parts?
Okay. God, he's good, him, isn't he? Which group's he in? Don't tell him I'm talking about him at the moment. Right. Okay. So, looking at this and looking at the ideal type of business I'm looking for, I'm looking to get into some large accountants in the Manchester area. If anybody knows a contact at Mitchell Charlesworth, or alternatively at Horsfield and Smith, there would be two of the ideal sort of companies that I want to get into. So, does anybody have any questions about numbers and how they can reduce your costs? Yes, Marcus.
What's the best way to introduce you when we're having conversations with our own, let's say for argument's sake, an existing client? How would we bring your products and services into the conversation?
There's two sides to that. Okay, if they're brand new, okay, then I would always like to get in first before they make the biggest mistake of their life and bringing BT up. Okay, because although BT are very good at stuff, you end up being just a number, just one person, whereas you're important to me. And sometimes if you've got an established customer, it could be that they're moving premises. It could be that they're complaining, we're ringing China and our bloody bills have gone through the roof. We can bespoke telephone rates for customers as well, so that it's important that the calls they make, or the places, the countries they go to, we can reduce their cost. So I suppose sort of things, people just setting up, people moving premises, or people who are complaining about the cost of making a telephone call. Yes, Sarah.
Typically, what's the contract length you'd be expecting a customer to come to you for?
Okay, two sides. Okay, if it's a brand new installation of a telephone line, then my suppliers, I'm restricted to them, and it's normally 12 months. Okay, if I'm taking something over from a customer, then I work on a 30-day basis, because if it doesn't work for them and they don't want it, I rather keep them as a friend or a business friend rather than lose them and they start to be upset about having to pay for a service when they no longer need it. So I know that if I'm supplying these types of numbers, they'll use them, and you know, a 30-day contract works quite nicely for me.
Fantastic. Which number works best for people, you know, customers ringing in? Which one do you find they will use the most?
If you're ringing from a mobile, okay, for a customer's point of view, the 03 number is going to become more and more important because it comes out of your minutes. Okay, if you're a business-to-business call centre and you want to generate some revenue, then you're going to use an 0844 number, because you'll get 1 or 2 pence a minute back on that for every phone call you make. Whereas with an 03 number, it just comes out of your minutes. And depending on how you set your telecoms up, it either costs you something to receive a call or it doesn't.
It's brilliant, Tony. Everybody, a big round of applause for Tony, please.
I cut myself.
Okay, that's great. Hope you all enjoyed the networking break. And we now come to that point in the agenda where we've got our learning point. Today's learning point is going to be by Marcus Clowes. Marcus, if you could just come up and to the front.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to share with you today is a means of generating massive amounts more referrals than you currently do by just changing some of the things that you include within your 60-second presentations. All very, very simple tasks, but with having been involved in this type of organisation now since 2002, I've been able to refine a 60-second presentation and also measure some of the things that I've done to make a difference. And these are very simple things, as I've already said. So the first thing is, the more specific you are within the 60 seconds, the more likely you are to get those introductions that you're looking for. So, as a suggestion, between this meeting and the meeting in 2 weeks' time, if you think about the name of the companies that you'd like to be introduced to, and the contacts within those companies that you'd like to be introduced to, and obviously you can do that from Google and things like that. So let's say, for argument's sake, you were looking to speak to the managing director of Kuhn & Nagel. You could go to LinkedIn, or you could go to Google. You could Google Kuhn & Nagel and find out who the managing director is. I know their managing director's name is Mr. Coulson, and I'm a person that knows that individual. So if somebody was to stand up in their 60-second presentation and ask for that person specifically by name, then I would be able to make that introduction. If you compare that to just saying, I'd like an introduction to a transport company, the likelihood of you getting that referral changes. And in reality, with the measurements that I've done, you are 7 times more likely to get an introduction by naming the company, naming the individual, than you are by not. The other thing that's very important with regards to generating referrals, I've found, is telling people what to look for, telling people what to listen for, and when they hear or see those things that you have asked them to look and listen for, this is the key to it. Tell them what to say in order to introduce you. I think one trap that I've certainly fallen into over the years is, because I'm an expert in my particular business area, I use terminology and things like that that most other people may not understand because they're not an expert in my business. But if I want an introduction to, let's say, Mr. Coulson, for example, and I say, if you know somebody that knows him, please get them to introduce me like this, then the people around the room will find it much easier to do so. So just to sum up, be specific as you possibly can. For the next meeting, think of the name of a company, think of the name of find the name of the individual you want to be introduced to, and also tell us what it is that you want us to say in order to make those introductions for you. And what we can then do is see what return we get on you making those changes to your 60-second presentations. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, that's a great learning point from Marcus. And now to the contribution section, and I'll introduce Phil. Phil, if you can run the contribution section for us, please.
Thank you, Len. And now to the most important part of the meeting, or we could say the meat of the meeting. This is where we ensure that the B4B system works for all of our members. As Len said earlier to the guests, it's probably unlikely that you'll receive any referrals today, and that's because we don't know enough about your business and we don't know what constitutes a good referral. But you might receive a one-to-one requests from our members where they actually want to learn a bit more about your business and get to learn a bit more about what your business is about and what a good referral would be for you. Now we're going to come round the table as before, and I'll be starting with Len, but there are 5 ways to contribute, and you'll see that the members will be passing out these slips. Everyone should have a referral pad, referral slip in front of you. Now to guess, again, there's no pressure for you to fill any of these slips in. These are what the members use to detail the business and pass them around the table. Members, if you would like to fill a slip in, please speak to the person next to you, the person probably who brought you along today, and they'll explain what you do. There's 5 boxes along the top which correlate with the contributions we've got on there. At the top we've got, as well as 100% attendance, and if you can't attend, of course, we would send along a representative. We conduct one-to-ones. We're able to pass, of course, referrals and leads, but also, and importantly, testimonials and thank yous around the group as well. And one of the most important things is actually saying thank you for the business. So when business is passed, we would pass a thank you and put the value down the bottom. And that's how, as myself as the coordinator, know that this group has already generated more than £1 million of business this year for the members around the table. The slips are in triplicate. The white copy is the one that you give out to the person you're passing the slip to. Please keep the pink slip yourselves as a record for you, and pass me the yellow slip so I am the coordinator. I can actually record all of these to see the value of the business and what is being passed around the table. So, as I mentioned before, I'm going to come to the members first and go anti-clockwise around the table, and then for the guests, I'm just going to come to you at the end. Of course, if you do have any slips to pass, that's absolutely fine, but no pressure or no problem if not. But there's one thing that I am going to ask you, so if you can be thinking about this as we're going around the room, is what was the one best thing about your visit to B4B Cheadle House today? So I'll start with Len.
Marcos, thanks ever so much for having a chat with me in the networking break. The fact that you know someone over at Kuhn & Nagel is wonderful, and if we can have a one-to-one, we can see how we could best make that work.
I'd like to thank yourself, Peter, for that business you passed me to your client. Thanks very much for that.
John Fisher, it passed me a lead, which was 3 months ago now, and when I was specifically looking for people into the University of Manchester. That's now led to £10,000 worth of business, so I'll put that on the slip. Thank you very much, John. Okay, we're now going to come to our guests of the meeting, as I said before, just to ask what was the one best thing. But of course, if you do have any slips, if you can pass them around now. But I'll start with Charlie. What was the one best thing about your trip to B4B this morning?
The best thing for me really would have been the synergy in the room and looking at the business being conducted. This is my first time at a business meeting like this, and certainly I'd like to thank Mel for bringing me along here, because it's certainly opened my eyes, and I'll be a new member after today. Okay.
Right. Thanks, Phil, for that great contribution section, and well done, everybody, for all the business you've generated. So finally, we've now got our next meeting is Thursday the 6th of July, if you can all remember that. Spotlight is going to be John Fisher. Learning Point will be Tony Hayes. And any other announcements we got? Anyone? No? Okay, that's good. Well, in that case then, guests will come round and we'll just give you some feedback forms. It'll take you 2 minutes to fill a feedback form in. Just let us know what you thought about us. And from that, I conclude the meeting. So big round of applause, everybody. Thank you.